some light future cuts. I have a question. There's a fine line, there's a new relationship forming between what would be corporate and politics. As someone who has kind of had a taste of both experiences, what do you say is the ideal line that every politician or every young leader should follow from henceforth?
In what regard?
Where companies like Cambridge Analytica and others sometimes believe that they work for profit. They live in a capitalist economy, so the social consequences of their actions shouldn't be really held to them. So, as young leaders, some who might go to politics, some who might go to the corporate side, what would you say is the right path to follow, morally or say ethically?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a hard one to answer as well, because you've got to take a view. You've got to do what you feel is right. That's people say the thing about leaders. You've got to be able to make a decision quickly, and you've got to feel it's the right decision, because you don't have the time to have an empirical. You haven't got time to do loads of research and stuff. So you've got to feel right morally. So and it's different for different people. So for example, I always maintain I will never work for a cigarette brand. That accounts or pay. But my job was to build a business, and we're a publicly quoted company at the time. Saatchi was owned by the Publicist Group, which is on the stock exchange. So, there's a sort of conflict of interest. If someone came to you and said, "Here's 50 million, and I can double your profit and 20% upside of your revenue, your top line," and you're saying no, it's an interesting moment. But in that instance, I would absolutely do it. But it's case by case. I think there is what I've been trying to say is I think increasingly a moral compass is important in the commercial world. I think making money is fine. I think capitalism is fine. But I think it's capitalism with a sense of civic duty. And I think it's possible, it has been possible, there's plenty of examples of it working. Corporate greed is an interesting, it's a spiky topic, because you get these sort of so-called fat cats getting outrageous money. Martin Sorrell, in my industry, made a career of commoditizing the advertising industry by offering cheap rates. Did make him very popular. There's no definitive right and wrong, but you have to be comfortable as someone going into a leadership position. You have to, when you go to bed at night, believe that you did the right thing based on everything you knew and everything you believe. People who only do the money stuff, I think, a lot of people get away with it, of course. But I don't know how they sleep at night, and a lot of them get caught out.
Thank you. Any further questions? Charles Cowell, how has Brexit affected the industries you're involved with?
Hugely. Absolutely hugely, because you can imagine the corporate world love a good chat about stuff and conferences and stuff, and the amount of chat, honestly, that Brexit is unbelievable. The one consistent thing though that comes out is, I used to work with Asda, for example, and they go, "Oh yeah, it's a disaster because 60% of food in this country is imported." People live under this sort of weird notion that we're self-contained and we farms and everything's fine and we can look after ourselves. Well, 60% of food that's eaten in this country, it comes from abroad. And just on the exchange rate alone, that's a 15% increase in the cost of food. Who does that hit the most? The people with no money. Brilliant, great, excellent. The same people, a lot of them, who voted for Brexit. So there's a sort of a very basic hit on that level. When if you're a discount or a value supermarket, they would say, they can't keep putting their prices down if their cost of getting stuff has just gone up. 60% of what they import has gone up by 15%. Puts them in a tricky spot. But more profoundly, the effect Brexit had on everyone, whether that's, Toyota is a good example of this. They were about to make a decision to build a new factory, something in the Middle East, big factory for the next generation of electric cars, plug-in cars, blah blah. And they used Brexit, as many companies did, probably rightly. They used Brexit to say, so much uncertainty. Those 50 trade agreements that apparently, according to Dr. Fox, could just be the easiest thing to do in the world. Those 50 are going to be rewritten. What, in that time frame? I'm just going to wait. So a lot of decisions were delayed, and the worst thing in business is all about momentum. The minute you stop, the next problem is in front of you, right there, and it consumes all of you. And the thing that you put on ice, as they say, basically you've kicked into the long grass, and they may never come back to it. So there's been lots of examples, none of them in the press, about investments in this country that are being cancelled or postponed. And if you read about, there's a lot of stuff about tech startups. Lisbon considers itself the Silicon Valley of Europe. Paris is now talking about itself as the Silicon Valley of Europe. Berlin is talking about itself. The biggest startup community, tech startup community, fintech and broader tech in Europe is actually London. There's a very good chance that's not going to last. So the biggest thing on business is the confusion and lack of clarity, and therefore the lack of decisions. And then, as I said earlier, nature rules a vacuum. Something else happens.
Daniel Boyle from Grey College again.
They haven't changed college from the last 7 minutes.
I'm a very fast man, but not that fast. You spoke a long time ago at the very beginning of your speech about your desire to inspire a more intense alumni community in Durham.
Yeah.
To encourage students who leave to frankly, to care about Durham once they've left.
To remain connected.
Yeah. This is less a question to you and more a question I'd like you to carry forward, especially with your meeting with the Vice-Chancellor.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, you spoke with aplomb about how important mental health is in all of these businesses, how having a connected workspace is important in all of these advertising companies. Everyone in this room knows somebody who suffers with mental health issues at Durham who doesn't get the help they need, right? I could probably point to any person in this room they'd be able to tell you of a friend of theirs at Durham who self-harms. Mm-hmm. How many more members of this university hurting themselves, ending their lives, is it going to take for something to be done? How many more students are joining with the Stockton campus being moved here, and how little is being done to expand the counselling service?
So I can answer that. First thing is, it's an incredibly important topic. A genuinely, profoundly important topic. The second point is, it isn't just Durham. It's a topic in this country for young people. It's a pressure cooker on young people. Level of expectations, because the quid pro quo of the world's an amazing place and all the opportunities you can go and lead it and do that is, oh my God, I've got all this stuff, how will that start? It's really, really tough, and it's really, really important. Funnily enough, as it happens, as you mentioned, there's massively high awareness here. I happen to know because I was in a meeting this morning discussing it, and we're talking about pastoral care, not just of the students here, but also immediately after they leave. And imagine students from abroad whose families are thousands of miles away and are looking for some sort of support network. And what is the university doing for that? This problem is core here, and the ripple effect is vast. And so, how many? I don't know. What is love? How many? Who knows? Too many is the answer to your question. And there is no quick fix. But please, and I am an outsider, and I'm not being paid. I should know. So this is not a paid function. So I'm not pushing any agenda, but I do know that there is very high up at a very senior level on the agenda, and there's doing a lot to happen there. And as to the new colleges coming in, one of the reasons we're setting up this campaign board is to raise an eye-popping amount of money to create and build the right support networks to be able to house all these new students coming in. So your point is well made, but believe me, if I listed 20 things to worry about, I'm afraid that's not on it, because I know there's stuff getting done and being taken incredibly seriously.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions?
Daniel from Wazowski, College of St. Nicholas in B. And a lot of graduates at this university and other universities go on to graduate schemes for large corporations, where it seems that all the work they've done is quite, a lot of them say it's quite meaningful. Where is there scope for you to, for one to sort of administer those ideals that you talked about, inspiration and leadership and those sorts of roles?
That's good. The answer is everywhere. Where are the opportunities? They're everywhere. The key is it's all in timing. So you'd be sitting in a meeting as an intern or a graduate trainee or something. And the sort of culture would encourage, the unwritten culture is don't say anything. Just don't say anything, take notes. Let the experienced people do all the talking. And by and large, that's not bad advice. Until you're listening to them thinking, that's rubbish. Or, I disagree. Or, what about if? Or, hang on, we're targeting 18 to 24-year-olds and you're all in your 40s. And I am an 18 to 24-year-old. Choose your moments where you have, what did David Miliband say, what's your history, what's your ideology, and what's your personality. Choose the right tone, respectful. Just a thought, as opposed to, this is nonsense. And talk on a topic that you have credibility talking about. Choose your moments, because people are always looking for the young talent to come through and demonstrate leadership skills. You think they're all just sitting there having a boring meeting, in a boring looking meeting room. The good ones have got their antennae up looking for you to fast track you. So don't let the body language fool you, but choose your moments.
Adam Forshaw, Grey College. What problems have you found in the past, and what problems do you predict in the future in business in general, and also maybe more specifically in advertising, with the greater polarisation of sort of global geopolitics? So we have more East versus West, culture versus culture, the Arab world versus Europe, or Americas versus each other. Like, what problems do you think are going to come from this in sort of becoming a global connected world with leadership, advertising, etc.?
Yeah. It is that, as I referred to as the echo chamber replacing leadership thing. It's the, it's the way algorithms work, isn't it? If I put out, talking about this earlier, if I put out two sentences, one, I met Theresa May today. She's actually really quite a nice person. Put that out. Two, I met Theresa May today. She's a disgrace to humanity. Two, just the way algorithms work, the negative one will pick up more traction. That's just annoying. And so then they get all noisy. And then the absolute extreme ones over here get really noisy, and everyone in the middle is forced to choose sides. And you have this sort of binary polarity. And from an advertising example, the key to advertising is understanding your target audience. I talk about insights and stuff like that. But if you've got people buying Toyota Prius, and you're targeting them, and you're looking at them and going, blimey, half of them are, they all hate each other, and there are very few commonalities here, because they force themselves into these corners. Now I'm exaggerating to make a point. It makes it very hard to target with any accuracy. So then you get into, good, let's do dynamic creativity, we'll make it highly transactional, and just serve them what they want to hear, because that's what an algorithmic world does. You're served up exactly what we know you like, which is different from really good advertising, which is designed to make you think differently, not agree with you. So I think it is a challenge. I think for what it's worth, I think it's a bit like the techno music. We'll go back to ballads. We'll go back to making people cry with good songs. Actually, I think the earlier question you talked about beguiling. You used the word beguiling in advertising. I was on a BBC programme some years ago about abstract art and how. Why is it that the most powerful advertising is the most sort of abstract and sort of, you can't explain it. We did an ad for Sony televisions years ago. You may remember it was, we went to San Francisco and threw 10,000 bouncy balls, colourful bouncy balls down a hill, and just had a music track. And it was the launch of a new Sony Bravia TV. There was very little logic there. There was no voiceover, there was no nothing, there was no end line. Which is why I said colour like no other. It was just a literal explosion of colour. And there was a sort of a madness to it. And it goes back to the sentient beings thing. We actually respond really well. When you meet someone, you go, blimey, they're so curious. I can't work them out. You're drawn to them. You're not repelled by them. It's not like, so as people, we like ambiguity. And yet the systems we're building is forcing a binary world, a black and white world. And that's one of the paradoxes, which is why I think things are going to evolve and change, and the disruptors in time will become disrupted or disrupt themselves. But it is a big challenge right here, right now, because you're forced to do unimaginative messaging, which then just becomes more annoying to the recipient. Yet another uninvited, unsolicited, smacking me in the chops when I'm trying to look something up on Google.
Any further questions?
You spoke a lot about companies like Cambridge Analytica and Amazon that sort of in the pursuit of efficiency, profit, and capitalist ideals. In their form of momentum, they're sort of casting aside a lot of these moral problems and doing things that, though are clearly moral, have a sort of question mark on whether or not they're legal. Like, they seem like the sort of thing that once the law catches up, it should be illegal, but of course, the way law works is very retrospective, very slow moving, whereas these companies are constantly moving forward. How do we then hold them to account? Is there any way, especially as a law student, I'm very excited.
I was just going to ask, I was going to say, any law students in there? I don't know, I'm going to ask you that.
Yeah, like, we're quite obsessed with how do we possibly hold these companies to account and take something like capitalism that is good in the way that it forces movement forward and it's always like putting things out there, but at the same time, how do you then make sure that they're not exploiting people and how do you ensure this morality? Because, like you said, a lot of investment and stuff now looks at philanthropy and stuff, but when you get down to it, there are going to be those companies that people that get away with immense awful things.
Yeah. Well, I think there are two parts to that. One is they get away with it for a while. You're right, there's always a lag, isn't there? It's interesting that there was an article this morning or yesterday or something about Google's Achilles heel. To take Google as an example. Google's Achilles heel is not being put in front of the Parliament Select Committee or the Senate. Their Achilles heel is if their own workers stop believing it. Which is why the minute those 3,000 Googlers demonstrated about the AI military thing, they reacted that day and called a meeting. So we have to, yes, we are doing this, and yes, it's part of our business and it's part of the world, but we hear you. We need to be clearer on what our do's and don'ts and our moral constraints are, what university we're working in. And it's very interesting how quickly they were to respond to their own people, and how slowly they are to respond to governments. So part of the answer, I think, might come from within, because you're only as good as the people who work for you, ultimately. It's not a brilliant answer, it's the best I can give.
Any further questions? More at all? Last call. Nope. That brings an end to the Q&A session to the address as a whole. Thank you very much for again. One final round of applause to everyone.